Good morning.
Morning. So as chair of the commission, I call this meeting of the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission to order at 10 a.m. This Zoom webinar is live streamed on YouTube on the Michigan Independent Citizens Redistricting Commission YouTube channel. For anyone in the public watching who would prefer to watch via a different platform than they are currently using, please visit our social media at Redistricting MI. Our live stream today includes closed captioning. Closed captioning, ASL interpretation, and Spanish, Arabic, and Bengali translation services will be provided for effective participation in this meeting. Email us at redistricting@michigan.gov for additional viewing options or details on accessing language translation services for this meeting. People with disabilities needing other specific accommodations should also contact redistricting@michigan.gov. This meeting is being recorded and will be available at www.michigan.gov/MICRC for viewing at a later date. This meeting is also being transcribed, and those closed caption transcripts will be made available and posted on the michigan.gov/MICRC website, and as well as written public comment submissions. Members of the media who may have questions before, during, or after the meeting should direct those questions to Edward Woods III, Executive Director for the Commission, at woodse3@michigan.gov or 517-331-6309. For the public watching in the public record, I will turn to the Department of State staff to take note of the commissioners present.
Good morning, commissioners. Please say present when I call your name. If you are attending the meeting remotely, please announce during roll call where you are attending the meeting remotely from, and unless your absence is due to military, announce your physical location by stating the county, city, township, or village and the state from which you are attending the meeting remotely. I will begin roll call. Doug Clark.
Present, and I'm attending today's meeting from Huntington Beach, California.
Juanita Curry.
Present, and I'm attending this meeting from Detroit, Michigan. Remotely from Detroit, Michigan.
Anthony Eade.
Good morning. Good morning. Present, remotely attending from Detroit, Michigan.
Brittany Kellum. Rhonda Lang.
Present, attending remotely from sunshiny Osceola County, Michigan.
Send some sunshine. Steve Lett.
Attending remotely from Lee County, Florida.
Cynthia Orton.
Present, attending remotely from Battle Creek, Michigan.
MC Rothhorn.
Present, attending remotely from East Lansing, Michigan.
Rebecca Zatella.
Sorry about that. Present, attending remotely from Wayne County, Michigan.
You're okay. Janice Vallette.
Present, attending remotely from Highland Township, Michigan.
Aaron Wagner.
Present, attending remotely from Eaton Township, Eaton County, Michigan.
Richard Weiss.
Present, attending remotely from Saginaw Township, Saginaw, Michigan.
Dustin Witches.
You just muted yourself, Dustin.
Oh, it said present, attending remotely from Tuscola, Illinois.
I'm sorry, say again where you're attending from.
Tuscola, Illinois.
Tuscola, Illinois. Got it. Thank you. There are 12 commissioners present. We have a quorum. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you, Ms. Young. As a reminder to the public watching, you can view the agenda at www.michigan.gov /MICRC. I I would entertain Commissioner Eat, you have your hand up.
Yes. Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd like to motion to adjourn.
Second.
There is a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I have discussion.
Okay, Commissioner Lang.
Thank you, Chair. This is coming as a surprise to me, so I would like to know what the reason for the motion is, and if there was discussion that was had outside of an open meeting about this. Our rules state that we must have one meeting a month, and we have missed 2 months. So unless there's extenuating circumstances, I don't think it's proper or right for the public for us to adjourn. So I would just like to know what the reasoning of the adjournment is. Thank you.
Commissioner Eid has hand up. So Commissioner Eid, you want to address that?
Sure, yes. I'm looking at the agenda. Well, first, we are having a meeting. We have called the meeting. There is a quorum, and now there is a motion to adjourn. So I would say this is the meeting. I'm making the motion to adjourn because I don't see anything on the agenda that is time sensitive. I think given the circumstances of the Aggie court case, it would make the most sense to adjourn and come back once we hear the verdict of the case and do everything that's on today's agenda, and then figure out, depending on the verdict, what there is to be done later.
Okay, Commissioner Wagner.
I see no reason to adjourn. We haven't had a meeting. The public deserves to know what the hell's going on. I want to know what the hell's going on. And I'm a little upset that we've all printed out all this material, all got ready for this meeting, only to have it adjourn after the adoption of the agenda or whatever. This is ridiculous.
Commissioner Zatella.
Sorry, I keep muting myself. I don't really have any commentary on the motion to adjourn. However, I do have a point of order I'd like to discuss before we move to voting. I think I can hold that in case anyone else has any comments. I just wanted to make you aware of it.
Any other discussion on the motion? Commissioner-elect.
I would be interested, since you've raised a point of order, Commissioner Zatella, what your point of order is, or are you withdrawing your point of order?
No, I can make it right now. Under Robert's Rules of Order, the point of order actually takes precedent over voting on a motion. So this was actually on the agenda today, but if we're going to adjourn, I think it needs to be brought up now before we vote. I have some concerns around the residency of 2 of the members who are currently sitting on the commission, specifically Mr. Clark, who resigned on February 12th, 2022 and moved to California.
I have a point of order. Rebecca is totally out of order right now by bringing up things on the agenda.
I actually am not.
So are you.
I am not.
Pardon
I'm
me,
not. I
Commissioners.
made a motion. There was a second. I made a
Please
motion.
do not.
Pardon me,
This is the
Commissioners.
introvert. This is the introvert speaking. I am unable to interpret effectively and create accessible communication if people are talking over each other. Thank you.
Right, Commissioner Orton, can we hear from Ms. Reinhardt? She was trying to say something, and I don't know if she had a chance to be heard.
Thank you, Executive Director Woods. When a point of order is raised, it is the point of order before the commission and will be determined by the chair. If a second point of order would like to be raised, it will and can be raised after the first and initial point of order is addressed by the chair. So Commissioner Eid, to your point, if you would like to make a point of order after Commissioner Satella's point of order, you're welcome to do so. But again, just a reminder to commissioners to help our interpreters and our viewing members of the public, please refrain from outbursts and talking over each other during today's meeting. Thank you so much.
And Ms. Reinhardt, can you also share for the record that Commissioner Kellum has joined?
Absolutely. Welcome, Commissioner Kellum. Can you let us know where you are joining today's meeting from?
Good morning. I am attending from Wayne County.
Thank you. And for the record, Commissioner Kellum is joined at 10:10 a.m. Thank you.
And I have a question for our parliamentarian.
Certainly.
Since there is a motion and a second on the floor, do we take care of the points of order before we vote?
Yes, generally, whenever points of order are raised, they're addressed at the time that they are raised, and that would be addressed through a ruling of the chair.
Okay, so Commissioner Zatella, you may proceed.
Thank you. So as I mentioned, Commissioner Clark, to my understanding, I know for a fact he resigned on February 12th, 2022, because I received a copy of that communication that was sent to the Secretary or the Department of State, and then subsequently moved to Huntington Beach, California, which is where he's calling in from today. Our Constitution and also our rules of procedure require that commissioners be eligible to vote and registered to vote in the state of Michigan. Someone who does not live in the state of Michigan is not eligible to vote in the state of Michigan. So I have concerns about Mr. Clark. And then in addition, Commissioner Witches moved to Illinois last year, approximately February, I'm sorry, not February, July of 2022. He accepted a position with a railroad company. And at the time I was told that it would be impossible for him to reside in Michigan because of the obligations of that job, and that he now resides in Tuscola, Illinois, which is where he has called in from today. And again, the same issue there, that in order to be eligible to be on the commission, you need to be eligible to vote in Michigan and registered to vote in Michigan. And so in addition to not residing in Michigan anymore, based on my understanding, based on my searches, I also don't believe that Commissioner Witches is currently registered to vote in Michigan. So I raise that as a point of order under both the Michigan Constitution and under the rules of procedure. Like I mentioned, this was actually supposed to be an agenda item today. It has been presented to both the Department of State attorneys and to the commission's attorneys for review. And I was hoping that we could discuss it rather than have it be done as a point of order. But if we're going to adjourn and not even be able to raise this issue, which I think is extremely important, particularly because we are in the middle of litigation in the AG case, and we could potentially have an order as soon as next week. And if that is going to be the case and we have 2 vacant positions, I would like to see those positions filled by people who are actually residing in the state of Michigan. That's all.
So what are you asking that we do with this point of order?
Well,
It's actually, as the chair, you actually have the authority to make a determination on the rule of order. You could choose to demote Mr. Witches and Mr. Clark, or you could choose to proceed with them currently voting, but I have registered my objection to them doing so.
Madam Chairperson, this is Edward Woods, Executive Director. I think Commissioner Zatella said she did raise the issue with both our attorneys and the Michigan Department of State. So we would need to actually hear from them first before the commission can actually go forth, because there has to be some type of inquiry or investigation with regards to what was shared.
So Mr. Fink, I see that you're on camera. Do you wish to address this now?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. And I just broadly speaking, I'm not sure about the authority of the chair in this context to demote a commissioner, but that's not really why I asked to speak up. First of all, good morning to everybody. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. And I was planning to address this issue if it came up later in the meeting, but since it came up right now, I would just like to say a few things, which is last Friday, less than a week ago, Commissioner Zatella sent an email raising questions about the eligibility of Commissioner Clark and Commissioner Witches to serve on the commission. Commissioner Zatella questioned whether they are registered and eligible to vote in Michigan, which is a requirement to serve on the commission. It's important to emphasize both registered and eligible to vote. Both are necessary. Of course, we're not in a position and don't want to rush any sort of formal or informal legal opinion on the subject. Once we speak at a public meeting, even if we're qualifying it as some sort of preliminary analysis, it can sometimes be sort of accepted as that's the opinion. And so we don't want to rush to any sort of conclusion on that. But we want to provide you with the information that we have gathered since Friday. After we received the message from Commissioner Zatello, we immediately connected with the Secretary of State's office on Friday to begin gathering information about these issues. The Secretary of State's office consulted with the Bureau of Elections and worked together to gather information. What we've learned is both Commissioner Clark and Commissioner Witchies are registered voters in the state of Michigan. They're both currently registered voters. It's important to emphasize, again, not getting into any sort of deep legal analysis on the issue, but the issue of voter registration and eligibility are governed in part by federal law, which governs when people can be removed from voter rolls and the extent to which they remain eligible voters, depending on where they may be and what they may be doing. And again, not prepared to speak with any kind of legal analysis, but to expand on the facts that we've been able to gather. We spoke with Commissioner Clark on Tuesday afternoon, and Commissioner Clark shared the following information. He had, as I think probably all of you know, he had a very serious personal health issue that arose in February of 2022. And that necessitated him going to California so that his family could help care for him during his treatment. He's, as far as my understanding is, he continues to undergo that treatment. Since he went to California, he has maintained a residence in Michigan. He sold the house that he had, but he's maintained a residence here and has continued to pay rent since he went to California in February of 2022. He has also maintained his Michigan driver's license, which he still has. And as I noted, he is registered to vote in Michigan. He indicated that he voted by absentee in the 2022 general election, and that he also pays Michigan income tax, continues to pay Michigan income taxes. And when I asked him whether he sees Michigan as home and intends to come back to Michigan when his health would allow it, he said yes. He said whenever his health will allow it, he does intend to move back to Michigan. He said his friends are here, and he actually frankly said that California isn't all it's cracked up to be, and really does, hope to be back in Michigan when his health will allow it. Now, that's the information that we've been able to gather from Commissioner Clark, and wanted to share that with you. Again, kind of thought we might be doing it later in the meeting, but since the issue has come up now, I wanted to share that information that we've gathered about his current status and the facts. We also spoke with Commissioner Witchies on Tuesday. And as the commission has been aware, in I think it was mid to late I don't know exact time that he actually received the job opportunity in Illinois with the railroad company. But it was, I know I believe as of October 2022, he had at least started working at the company or began training. And as I mentioned, as with Commissioner Clark, he is a registered voter in the state of Michigan. He was and remains a registered voter in the state of Michigan. In October of 2022, he began renting an apartment in Illinois. And according to Commissioner Witchies, and again, we haven't dug into all the different legal issues, but according to Commissioner Witchies, under Illinois law, someone who rents must obtain an Illinois driver's license within 30 days after, I don't know if it's signing a lease or basically starting to rent some sort of dwelling. So he did that. And as a result, he surrendered his Michigan driver's license around that time. He said that when he went to take this job opportunity in Illinois, he intended it he believed that it would be a temporary opportunity that had come up. He would get training, and that he would come back to Michigan as soon as a job opportunity would arise here, possibly with one of the railroad companies in Michigan. He was candid and said he isn't exactly sure when that will be, but should an opportunity arise for him to come back to Michigan, he anticipates that he would take it. Now, on the issue that Commissioner Zatella mentioned about this resignation related to Commissioner Clark. In her email that she sent, I think she may have sent that earlier this week, but she noted that Commissioner Clark had submitted a resignation on February 12th, 2022. And Commissioner Commissioner Zatella indicated that she.
Just a quick one.
Commissioner Lang, I'm sorry, did you ask a question?
Yes, actually, I just want to make a quick personal privilege point of order, I guess. You just stated a minute ago, and I apologize, they had my line muted, that the commission was well aware of Mr. Witch's employment. That's not factual. I was not aware of his employment and actually was not made aware of it until just this week. So I just want to put that out there. If we're speaking factually, I was not aware of his residency in another state nor the status of any employment he may have. So I just want to be accurate in that, and I apologize, but please continue.
Okay, well, it's my understanding, and again, I haven't had the time, this issue was just raised, less than a week ago. Haven't done like a full deep dive into this. My understanding is, as Commissioner Witches has been appearing for the remote meetings that the commission has been having over the last year plus, that he's been indicating he's appearing from, I don't know exactly what the county is, but in Illinois, and so, it's my understanding that that's part of the record, but I appreciate you, sharing that comment, Commissioner Lang. But just if I could return back to, the information that we've gathered, as I was starting to say, Commissioner Zatella indicated that she believes that Commissioner Clark's resignation took effect immediately upon submitting that letter back in February 12th of 2022. So we reviewed the records that Commissioner Zatella did send us. Again, without being able to provide any sort of real formal legal analysis on the issue, we did try to review this so we could gather whatever information we could should the issue come up today, so we could share it with you. So on February 12th, 2022, which was a Saturday when state government is closed, Commissioner Clark sent an email to Sarah Reinhardt at MDOS and copied then Executive Director Sue Hammersmith and Commissioner Zatella. She was the chair of the commission, I believe, at the time, and so that's the reason she was copied on it. In the email that he sent, that Commissioner Clark sent on February 12th, he indicated that, or he noted that he would be resigning effective February 28th. So not that day, but February 28th. And in that message, he said that he had a very serious health issue that required him to be with his family for support. And so that's why he would be resigning. A couple of hours later, it might have been a few hours later, within 3 or 4 hours, also on that same day, Saturday, Ms. Hammersmith sent an email to that same group and may have added Edward to that, Mr. Woods to that one, but roughly that same email group, including to Sarah at MDOS, and said that Sue was requesting that no action be taken until they could speak further with Doug. Again, this is all on the same Saturday, February 12th. Then 2 days later, February 14th, the next business day, that Monday, Valentine's Day, Sue Hammersmith informed the same group, now including Edward and Mike Brady from MDOS, that Commissioner Clark had regained his strength and had been released. I assume that means he had been released from the hospital where he was, I assume he was, I don't actually know exactly what that reference is, but I assume that means he was released from the hospital. He had reconsidered and that he would not be resigning. So I take that to mean that he was resigning in reaction or initially was intending to resign because he had this very serious health diagnosis, thought about it, and then when the actual next business day came up, said, no, I don't want to do that. And then Ms. Hammersmith again sent that email and advised the Secretary of State's office that he actually was not going to be resigning. Again, this was well before February 28th, which was the day that he said that his resignation would be taking effect. And he has, of course, in fact, served on the commission as a commissioner for the last 22 months since then. Again, we're still reviewing the different legal questions and, you know, the extent to which, as you apply these facts to the law, you know, what the ultimate sort of opinion might be, but wanted to take this opportunity to, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share some of the facts that we've been able to obtain and discover over the last few days.
Thank you, Mr. Fink. Commissioner Letts, did you have something pertinent to this discussion?
Well, that remains to be seen. The point of order raised by Commissioner Zatella, she has managed to hijack into a full-blown discussion about an agenda item that's not even on the agenda. So I think the point of order is out of order and should be ruled accordingly. So once that ruling is made, if it is made, then I have comments on the motion to adjourn.
Okay. Yes, well, considering that the investigation is ongoing, we've taken enough time with this, we will move on from that point of order.
Well, can I comment on that, Chair Warden?
If it's short.
Yeah, I just want to say it actually is listed on the agenda. It's, I believe, number 4 under new business, vacation discussion. Is exactly what that was intended to be. So it is actually listed on the discussion. I also wanted to correct a point that Mr. Fink mentioned.
I think you can hold that. We're done with this point of order.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Commissioner E, did you have a separate point of order or can we dismiss that?
Well, I have a comment on this point of order.
I think we're done with this point of order. We'll
right.
move on.
We can move on to the original.
Now we have a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion about the motion?
Point of personal privilege.
Commissioner Lang, what did you say?
I kind of have a point of personal privilege, I think, but it's more or less just a comment that I hope you guys would take into consideration.
If I may,
regarding...
apologies, Commissioner Lang, for the interruption, but just to clarify with Robert's rules, so a point of order is when you want to interrupt the proceedings to point out a rule violation that will be determined by the chair. Whereas a point of personal privilege is really more of a comment addressing a personal need rather than a sharing of an opinion during a meeting. So I apologize for the interruption. I'm not sure what you were about to share, but I just wanted to make sure that whatever you were about to share was in line with the intent of what a point of personal privilege is supposed to be. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think it might be, and I'm sure the commission will correct me if I'm wrong. The point I want to make is this meeting has been rescheduled. I have had to cancel 2 very important appointments to attend these meetings that keep getting canceled last minute. I don't think it's right that this is being done, and it's obviously being done and decisions being made outside. And I'm not blanket covering everybody, but I don't think it's right that people are making adjustments to their calendars to be here, and then this is being thrown out like this repeatedly. So I don't know. Okay. Rule me out of order, whatever, but thank you.
Thank you for your comment. We will take the comments of the hands that are up, and then we will vote. Commissioner Lett, did you still have something about this?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I support the motion to adjourn for the exact reason that we have just seen. This commission has deteriorated into no longer a debating commission, but one that is severely hamstrung now by the events that have occurred in the last several weeks, which I would say everybody is aware of. However, what we think everybody is aware of isn't always what everybody is aware of. I would hope that we could adjourn and let the spirit of Christmas infuse in everybody, come back in January, having had an opportunity to consider the events that have occurred and to consider what the requests are now being made without having such hot topics not genuinely considered under a more calm method. And that's why I would concur with the adjournment.
Thank you for your comment. Commissioner Wagner, do you have a comment?
I actually do. I do have a comment. Are we discussing the adjournment now? We've put the point of order aside, correct?
Right. We are about to vote on.
Okay, my question is, why in hell did we call a meeting for today for all of us to get here? We've now postponed one meeting, November. We're postponing December. Technically, calling roll is just roll call. You have not attended class.
Okay, thank you.
So I am completely against this. I think we need to get this business out of the way before we get hit with something bigger in the future.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Commissioner Eat, do you have a comment about the motion?
Yeah, I mean, the reasons are relatively obvious. We know plaintiffs are watching this meeting. We know we have a commissioner working hand in hand with the plaintiffs. My fear is that this meeting, as Commissioner Letts said, will be used in a method to only hurt us, generate negative headlines, and come after commissioners. I'll tell you what we're not going to do. We're not going to come after commissioners for being sick or taking other job opportunities. That is not what we're going to do. Commissioner Clark and Commissioner Witches are good commissioners, and this commission will not remove them. Maybe some other entity says they can't be on this commission. That's one thing. But
Point of privilege, he's going into the point of order
Okay,
that was
we're
discussed.
gonna-
Now, with that said, I
Stop
agree.
discussion.
With that said, okay, with that said, I agree. We should adjourn in the spirit of Christmas, in the spirit of the holidays, and I'd now like to motion to end discussion.
Just
we are ending discussion anyway.
Apologies for the interruption, Madam Chair. Just a reminder to commissioners that when a discussion is occurring about a motion that has been seconded, that the discussion should remain germane to that particular motion, which currently before the commission is the motion to adjourn. And now a motion to close discussion or call the question has been made, which does require a second.
Okay, not hearing a second, I would like.
Second.
Okay, that's seconded. So we are going to vote on calling the
Which
question.
is completely convenient when other people have things to say. Go ahead.
So can we have a roll call vote?
Yes, we are roll calling the vote for the adjournment of the
This
meeting.
would be to end discussion.
To end discussion. Okay. Thank you, Sarah. A yes vote means that you would like it to end, and no means that you do not agree. I will start with Commissioner Curry. And
Commissioner Curry had to leave.
Yeah,
No,
he's here.
Oh,
She's there.
on
She's
mute.
in
He
her
just is
car.
on mute. There we go.
Yeah, I'm here. I vote to dismiss this meeting.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you.
Apologies, Commissioner Curry, just to clarify that the motion right now is to end discussion.
To end this,
We're not voting yet to end the meeting. We're voting to end discussion about talking about ending the meeting.
Yes.
okay. Thank you. Commissioner Ede,
Yes.
Commissioner Kellum,
Yes.
Commissioner Lang, did we lose Commissioner Lang? Is she muted again?
She's off.
Thank you. If I could please stop being muted, that would be wonderful because I don't know how to unmute myself using the thing. I vote no. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Lett,
Yes.
Cynthia Orton,
Yes.
MC Rothorn,
Yes.
Rebecca Zatella,
Yes.
Janice Villette,
Yes.
Aaron Wagner,
No.
Richard Weiss,
Yes.
Dustin Witches,
Yes.
Doug Clark,
Yes.
with a vote of 11-2, the yes win.
Okay, thank you. Now we are voting on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Can we have another roll call vote, please?
Absolutely. This is the motion to adjourn this meeting. Anthony Ede,
Yes.
Brittany Kellum,
Yes.
Rhonda Lang,
No.
Steve Lett,
Yes.
Cynthia Orton,
Yes.
MC Rothorn,
Yes.
Rebecca Zatella,
No.
Janice Villette,
Yes.
Aaron Wagner,
No.
Richard Weiss,
Yes.
Dustin Witches,
Yes.
Doug Clark,
Yes.
Juanita Curry.
I think maybe Juanita had to leave.
Did we lose her?
I think so.
Yeah, it looks like
She
she's
has
no
another
longer.
appointment.
Okay. With a roll call vote of 9 yes to 3 no, the yes wins.
Of course it
Okay.
does.
So
So
much for sunshine.
the ayes have prevailed and we are adjourning this meeting at 10:38 a.m. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.